Welcome to Wise Tales by Wonders. Today's tale is all about the enslavement for 400 years. The background: a cry for freedom. For over 400 years, the Israelites had lived in Egypt. What began as a place of refuge during a famine became a land of bondage. Pharaoh, the king of Egypt, saw the Israelites' growing population as a threat. Fearing they would rise against him, he enslaved them and subjected them to harsh labor. Their pain and suffering reached heaven. And the Bible says God heard their groaning and remembered his covenant with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Exodus 2:24. God raised up Moses, a Hebrew man raised in Pharaoh's palace but exiled to the wilderness after killing an Egyptian. While tending sheep in Midian, God appeared to Moses in a burning bush and gave him a divine mission. Go and tell Pharaoh to let my people go.
10 Plagues of Egypt. Water turned to blood. Exodus 7:14-24. Moses struck the Nile with his staff, and all the water in Egypt turned to blood. Fish died. The river stank. The people could not drink the water. Yet Pharaoh's heart remained hard. Frogs. Exodus 8:1. Frogs came up from the Nile and invaded homes, bedrooms, kitchens, even beds. Pharaoh begged for relief and promised to let the people go. But once the frogs died, he changed his mind. Gnats. Dust turned into gnats, covering people and animals. The magicians of Egypt admitted, "This is the finger of God," but Pharaoh would not listen. Flies, swarms of flies filled the houses and land of Egypt, except in Goshen, where the Israelites lived. For the first time, God made a distinction between his people and the Egypt. A deadly plague struck the Egyptian livestock: horses, cattle, donkeys, camels, sheep, but none of the Israelite animals died. Still, Pharaoh's heart was unyielding. Boils. Soot from a furnace was tossed into the air, and painful boils broke out on people and animals. Even Pharaoh's magicians couldn't stand before Moses, yet Pharaoh did not listen. Hail. God sent the worst hailstorm in Egypt's history. It struck down people, animals, and crops. Fire, lightning, flashed among the hail. Pharaoh cried, "I have sinned." But once the hail stopped, he hardened his heart again. Locusts. A strong east wind brought locusts that devoured every plant and tree left after the hail. Egypt was stripped bare. Pharaoh and his people, thick darkness covered Egypt for 3 days, so dense no one could see or move. But in Goshen, there was light. Pharaoh told Moses to leave, but to leave their flocks behind. Moses refused. Pharaoh became enraged and threatened Moses' life. The final and most devastating plague. God warned of one last judgment. Every firstborn in Egypt will die, from Pharaoh's son to the firstborn of the slave. But God gave Israel a way of escape: the Passover. Each family was to sacrifice a spotless lamb and paint its blood on their doorposts. That night, the angel of death passed through Egypt, but passed over the homes marked with the blood. Every Egyptian home experienced grief as the firstborn died. Pharaoh, broken and terrified, finally gave in. "Go, leave my people, and bless me also." The miracle. Crossing the Red Sea. God commanded Moses to stretch out his staff over the sea. Then, an incredible miracle happened. The waters parted, forming walls on both sides, and the Israelites walked through on dry ground. Pharaoh's army followed, but once the Israelites had crossed, God told Moses to stretch out his hand again. The waters returned, crashing down on the Egyptians. Not one survived. That day, God displayed his mighty hand, and the Israelites feared him and put their trust in him, and in his servant. Lightning and powers came out of his rod, and the sea closed. A God who delivers. The 10 plagues and the crossing of the Red Sea are not just ancient events, they are a vivid reminder of God's power to save. God who hears cries, confronts injustice, and makes a way where there is no way. He will fight for you. You need only to be still. Exodus 14:14. If you enjoyed this story, please like, share, and comment.